Okay, good morning, everyone. And beautiful to see you again. As always, let's all stay quiet for a while. Please close your eyes with us. A minute or two in silence. Okay, everyone. How is everyone? Everyone doing good? Yeah? Cool. I hope so. So much happening. How many of you live in the United States? I always like to get an idea. All right. So this morning we have such a great satsang. It's kind of general. The satsang is general to try and explain some things that we have been thinking about and talking about and exploring ourselves, as well as just some of what we wrote on the introduction email regarding the what the planet's going through right now. So I thought that what we'll begin with today is I'm going to say to Ramaji, I would like him to go over what he meant by the LOC on the planet moving into non-duality, because I would not like anybody to think that it's the human intelligent LOC that happens to be rising into non-duality, because I think it's pretty obvious that is simply not happening right now. So let him talk about that, because I think it could have been misunderstood in many ways. And after that, I'm going to go into a few other things myself that I think are very important to address at this time. So, and again, it's going to be more general. Remember, there's no substitute, and there never will be, for personal sessions. Your sessions matter now. Your LOC matters now. You want to get this. You want to be able to get it. You want to integrate, and you want to be able to live there. Okay, so we're doing whatever we can. These are busy times for us. And I always say it's most unfortunate that busy times always happen when the shit hits the fan. I wish it were the other way around. I wish people could actually want to do this when things were going well in their lives, so that the shit wouldn't hit the fan. Anyway, having said all that, let's start off with a little bit about what Ramaji wants to say about the LOC. Please.
Yeah, okay. I actually had an email from somebody recently, and they asked me about it, and pointed out that I had predicted in the first edition of the 1000 book that came out in 2014 and had been written largely in 2013. I'd actually predicted that 2020 would be a time of major adjustment, because of what had happened with the LOC on the planet. Well, I turned out to be right. And then in the new edition that came out in 2019, I was more specific. But what I've observed is from 2013, when I did the first LOC assessment, it's accelerated just more and more. So the LOC, and I'll explain what I mean by the LOC on the planet, it's accelerating faster, 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 like much faster than I expected. It's like since say 1950, 1940, or back to 1900. I mean, we're at a totally new place, and I'll explain. But really in the last 20 years, things have greatly accelerated as far as LOC. So when I say the LOC for the human beings, what I mean is, human beings are living on the surface of the earth. So the earth, or what could be called Gaia, the soul of the earth, is obviously at 1,000 or beyond. So it's a fully enlightened being doing a very spiritual purpose. And that's not what we're talking about. I'm not talking about Gaia, because Gaia has always been enlightened. So, and we're not talking about the average person. We're not talking about the human mass consciousness. So what am I talking about? It's human beings are living on the surface of the earth. There's some human beings living up in the mountains. That basically this very narrow zone where human beings live in cities and farms are on the surface of the earth. Okay, that level where human civilization is, okay, that is where there's been a frequency level of consciousness change. In other words, Gaia is at 1,000, and what's happening is the area on the surface of the earth, the skin of the earth where human beings live, is now moving up to match where she is at, as if she's had enough of all of this, all of our shenanigans. And now this planet is going to be, I'm suspecting, the vibration, the frequency, the level of consciousness on the surface of the earth where human beings live is going to be at 1,000 eventually, and not too far now. Somebody is not muted. I don't know who they are. So right now, on the surface of the earth where we're all living, where everybody is, including the rioters in the United States and rioters and protesters anywhere in the world, okay, everybody, the LOC is currently at 660. And it's gone up since 650 a few months ago. It's literally going up. It'll be in the 700s pretty quick. So basically the foundation that all of the old structures, the old, powers that be, the politics, the government, the financial structures, educational structures, human organizations, everything, all of that structure was based upon the consciousness that where it used to be, which was in the middle 200s, like 240 or something. Okay, it was built on that, assuming that that would be the consciousness. That foundation is completely dissolved now in terms of frequency of consciousness. It's gone as if it's gone from solid earth or rock to water. So all of the foundation is dissolved already at the level of consciousness in terms of LOC. So what this means is there will be an inevitable and impact, an unavoidable impact from this, that everybody on the planet will be subjected to. So whether you're one of the good guys or one of the bad guys, whether you're very spiritual or you're not, you're going to be subjected to this. And one of the side effects of this is that it's easier than maybe any time in recorded history to awaken, because the frequency of consciousness at the surface of the earth where we live is now higher than it's ever been. And it's going to keep getting higher. So awakening gets easier and easier. The urgency to awaken is stronger. And so in conclusion, in spite of what looks to be some very dire and negative things happening, and things that could be very negative happening in the future, or at least in the near future, nonetheless, from my perspective, and I got into this without even, when I was assessing the LOC of the earth, I was just doing it as part of writing the book. I wasn't trying to be a prophet. I wasn't trying to anticipate what would come as far as major events, except in a very general sense. So what I have found is there's a very direct correspondence. So basically the awakening is happening. And this is the, death throes and birth throes. This is the process of death and rebirth for human consciousness, human civilization. And you're not going to have these changes without some kind of upsets. Mm-hmm. So that's basically, so from that perspective, then it's a very positive thing that's happening.
When we think about Kali Ma, the Kali-esque energy, she's always been known as the goddess of a revolution. She's the goddess of revolution. We're seeing that now. We're seeing this absolute speed up of vibration. Most people don't know what to do with themselves.
I got to interrupt you because I just realized the word revolution has the word evolution in it.
Yeah.
It's a re-evolution.
Re-evolve.
Yeah, it's a spiral up, so it's a new level of evolution, which seems like a revolution until it's established. Then it's a higher level of evolution.
Yeah, when you start to understand the Kali archetype and you look into that, you will start to understand more or less what's being sped up universally right now. And it can be very, very frightening. We are being called to let go of our belief systems. We are being called to really look at what is true and what isn't true in terms of our daily survival, in terms of every single structure on this planet. It's all going to change. And there's no stopping this change now. So again, we've been talking about this for so long. I've called it the purge in my book. Get ready, we're purging. So anyway, well, I want to talk a little bit about The Matrix today. How many of you saw that movie? It's a great movie, isn't it? Cool. So I'm going to talk to you. I took some notes. I've just really been going into this. This is important because most of us are living in a matrix and we are awakening from the matrix. The word matrix comes from the Latin root word, which in ancient Rome, strangely enough, described the female animal that they used for breeding. It is a womb. That's what the word matrix means. It's a womb. It's a womb-like source, a mold from which something else is made. If you want to think of it like the void, you can think of the matrix like it's almost like a womb, a substance, the foundation, okay? It's a situation or a substance from which something originates. Something in which other things can be embedded. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about what a psychic matrix is, because that's what we're dealing with in these times. The word psychic comes from the root word psyche, which refers to the mind or the spirit of things. A psychic matrix, therefore, is a pattern of thought that is imposed upon a mind or a group of people, or a culture, or an entire civilization. It is a virtual reality in which people become embedded and through which they start to view their environment and view society. In ancient Rome, the statue was a she-wolf breastfeeding 2 infants. The Roman aristocrats knew very well at that time that the wolf represented the matrix in every sense of the word. They knew they were imposing a psychic matrix on their own citizens and every civilization that they conquered. What is a paradigm? And please, I know I'm being broad here. I'm being very objective here. I'm being broad. This is so that I want to open your minds. I want you to start thinking about this very carefully in the next few months. Okay? A paradigm is a pattern of thought. It's a set, often of toxic ideas, which often spread like a virus and infect and destroy societies and civilizations. They are often covertly imposed on people. We are none the wiser for it. As soon as you recognize the matrix, which is what gives the awakened person the biggest advantage known to man, you are free of it. But you have to recognize it. This can either be accepted or rejected. Only you can do that. You're either going to accept the matrix or you're going to reject the matrix. Interestingly, in that film, they said it's about taking the blue pill or the red pill, and I just love that analogy. You can't take the blue pill anymore. Blue pill, damn, not even, I don't even for the offering anymore. We're all being shown literally, incredibly in every way. It's here. So this gives us the opportunity for the freedom. Because unless you know you're living in a matrix or an illusion or in a Maya, how on earth are you going to escape it? How do you free yourself? How do we free ourselves? Remember, the majority of people are so embedded and intoxicated on things that are no longer of much value. For example, money, power, being above, being more spiritual than, being more smart than, intellectual, everything so in the head. The heart's become a matter of who gives a shit about the heart. We've become a society of robotic, toxic individuals. It's like AI. Have you ever noticed children today? I don't even think they know how to make eye contact. They're sitting on their iPhones, staring at their phones. Have you ever noticed, or does anybody ever look at what they're educating right now? What is the education system? Education 220. I took a good hard look at that. No critical thinking involved. Our children are not taught to think. Our children are taught to parrot, learning nothing about anything. And so it goes. It's very sad. Anyway, so we have this wonderful opportunity for freedom, and it's going to take a village. Again, all of us have to start looking into these various aspects of our matrix, because the only way the matrix changes once you've woken up to the fact that there is a matrix to begin with, it's not no longer personal. Little me, little me could easily actually go off to live in Costa Rica right now, put my feet up and never give any of this shit a thought, and peace out, because I know I'm awake. I don't believe half of what I think. I don't even believe my own story. But why? Why would I do such a thing? Why, when all I feel is my heart? Why, when I care? What's more important than helping one another? Than helping kind of create a new kind of paradigm that actually is no longer so toxic, but rather something that helps us all manifest the kind of world that we would prefer to live in versus this. It doesn't work, it's not working, it's never going to work again. So here we are, and we're on the brink of something super special. Or if people remain to become asleep, then it will just be a continuation of the old until who knows what we do to ourselves. But there is a sickness, clearly, and that's being manifest right now. And it's not a sickness of the body. It's a sickness of the psyche, in my humble opinion. Okay, so what is a noble lie?
I want to read from this.
Yeah, but hold on. Let me finish this little spiel. I know, I feel like I'm lecturing and it's the last thing I want to do. Okay. But I just want to get this out.
But it applies to what you just said.
I've been working day and night now. I work with my students in the day, and at night I've been researching everything I can possibly research to come up with the right formation of words to help us all understand this. And I suggest all of you, Ramaji and I are continuously sending out books to read on the Federal Reserve information. The more you learn, the better, the more equipped you are to understand the matrix. Okay? Thanks, Brenton. I love you too. And I love Caitlin. I hope she's here. All right, so let's talk a little bit about a noble lie. What is a noble lie? I love noble lies. We all tell them. Okay, it's a falsehood, usually told to control a person's mind. That's what they call a noble lie. And evil can often appear as a god. It can even appear as enlightenment. Have you ever heard those teachers talking about enlightenment? Oh, bliss. Nothing's going to matter again. I'm going to be conscious, spacious awareness and life and everything else. That's a noble lie. Wake up. There's no more room for that shit anymore, and there never was, in my humble opinion. Okay, so evil appears as a god, often as enlightenment, or it often even appears as a red goat with horns, like Satan. Plato's Republic, for those of you who haven't studied philosophy in any way, go and read up on that. It's excellent. It discusses the entire concept of what is a noble lie. Many good, many idealistic men, many sages, many brilliant philosophical minds have attempted and will continue to attempt to spread wisdom, to spread love, to spread humility, and they will always somehow or another have their brilliant message distorted. You see it over and over again in history. We can no longer distort the message because the message has always been so simple and so pure, and the law has always been the law of love. Stop. Nothing else to say really about the law of love, is there? Going into history, and then Ramaji is going to read you something quite classic about what we're facing right now, another wonderful book. But let's look even when we go back in history, nothing has really changed. Ultimately, we're reliving it. I really believe the Bible is talking about now. We're still slaves. We're still slaves, and we still need a shepherd because we like the sheeple, following around like little sheeple. We're not able to think for ourselves. We can't even talk about our politics without somebody cutting off our head in shame. We're not allowed an opinion. We have to all be agreeable. It's pathetic. You know, it really is. You know, it's time to wake up out of that needing agreement. I don't need anyone to agree with me. Okay, so let's think about what happened to the pharaohs. They made themselves into gods, didn't they, in Egypt? Where they put mankind at the bottom of what we call the pyramid, the triangle. Mankind is at the bottom, and always this elite is at the top somehow. But the pyramids should be the other way around. It's an inversion. You turn the pyramid, and there's the man at the bottom, and it's supposed to move up. It's supposed to incorporate the masses, isn't it? We're not supposed to be sitting at the bottom any longer. This is what waking up means. This is how moving in consciousness. This is what it's making us look at. Why are we so okay with being stuck at the bottom of a pyramid, being told what to do, what to wear, how to behave, with a mass media that is doing what? It's called propaganda, mind control. And the matrix starts there. We don't have to believe the story any longer. The way we are being mind controlled has many forms, very many degrees. It's a belief system more often than not based on bullshit. Okay? So, and these times are suggesting, and they really are suggesting, an opportunity unlike any other opportunity. We no longer have to believe the story. It's a story. We can see things via the accumulation of what I call accurate information, and that deep knowing. The truth is within you. It's always been within you. It cannot be given to you. You cannot catch it. It's not a virus. You have to clear out what's in the way of truth. You are the truth. That's always been the case. Knowledge absolves and dissolves the old worldview. And that's what we're seeing now. The more information, the age of information, the more technology, the more we're hearing, the more we are absorbing new things, new information, the more we're waking up to, oh, wow, there is another way to do this. There's another way to think. But we have to basically be, what is the word when you learn a lot? Not a student, yes, a student, but more than that. There's a word, I forget what the word is. So we can dissolve the old paradigm. And it feels bizarre only in the beginning. In the beginning, it feels very strange. It feels as if we're learning things that we never thought were even possible, that this matrix isn't even possible. How could we all have been so blindsided? Freedom is here. That's the good news, guys. And many of you are post 1000, and many of you know this already. But we are not in the majority. We are in the minority. And that has always been the case in history. There have always been a few wise people, and then the rest not so wise, but that is very, very purposeful. It's because information and ideas are meant to be debated. It's not us against anybody else. It's learning from one another. It's saying, you know what, I don't know everything. You know, I can really use your advice. I can see what you're saying and make some sense. I can even change my mind every minute. Jesus and the Buddha showed that each person can have a very personal relationship with God. That was the point of their message. And that was the law of love. That was my small little lecture, and I'm hoping with any luck that I've managed to at the least be a catalyst for looking into and gathering information. Ramaji and I are happy to always share our information. That's all we do. We share books, we share ideas, we share whatever we can, and we are always so grateful when you guys share your information with us. That happens a lot too, so thank you, because you help us learn. Okay, so you wanted to go say something now.
Yeah. I do. Yeah, we do our best to, oh yeah, thanks, Teresa. Yeah, I feel the same way. You know, it shows that the big picture is there is a spiritual purpose behind all of this. But as with awakening, the awakening process itself for an individual, there can be some rough patches. And for some people, there are some very rough patches. And given the extent of the unconsciousness and ignorance and negativity on the planet, it's no big surprise that the detox could be very dramatic, although actually, you know, I used to follow Edgar Cayce, and Edgar Cayce had predicted, you know, massive upheaval, catastrophe, and change that quite honestly, quite exceeds what has happened so far. I mean,
I wouldn't say that.
Oh, way beyond what's happened. So I think that from my perspective, when I was a teenager reading Edgar Cayce, and now it really looks to me like the consciousness of the human race has gone up significantly, you know, and that's one reason why it's not worse than it is. As bad as this seems to be with the coronavirus and the riots and the lockdown, and, you know, which is different from one country to the next, as bad as that is, according to Cayce and some others, it could be way, way worse.
Well, that's the crossroads we were speaking on.
Yeah, and so I feel, Pete, that there are some very good things happening at a consciousness level, and this detox is unavoidable in some form to some extent. Now going back to what Ananda was talking about, what's going on with the influence of technology in the schools and so on. So we came across this book called The Psychopath Factory by Tristram Vivian Adams.
It was such a fabulous book.
It's brilliant. It really is. It's we've been researching this. Basically, what the author is addressing is the destruction of empathy. Empathy is being destroyed. And not that it's gone, but I mean, everybody here has empathy. But there's an attack on empathy. There's an attack on the ability to feel and care about other human beings and essentially on love, ultimately. So here is what he's quoting an author and so on. And so I'm just going to hit some high points here. That social interaction outside of late capitalist work has diminished and been replaced by the blue-hued loneliness of social media. This void has been partially filled by social, emotional, and empathetic therapeutic working strategies, But outside of working hours, social interaction has been usurped by the flickering television set, DVD box sets, streaming or downloadable films, online forums, YouTube, online gambling, social media, video gaming, and pornography. These are some of the dominant affective stimuli outside of work. We are being exposed to technology and its effects more and more. The result of this exposure is strikingly similar to established psychopathic categories. Internet pornography and violent computer games lead to a flattening of emotional response. A flattening of response combined with rampant self-interest is by many definitions psychopathic. Technology is conditioning a poverty of affective reactions, in other words, feeling, as well as a self-centered subjectivity. A lack of empathy combined with an inflated self-appraisal. The potent energies of the technological environment that we inhabit now desensitize our psychic skin. A lack of empathy, low affective or feeling reaction, and a lack of sensitivity towards others are some of the symptoms caused by a technological burning as a result of exposure. In other words, technological overload. So we could go on and on, the flattening of response, diminished capacity for empathy, for in feeling.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'll type this in on the chat.
Fantastic book. Again, it just wakes us up to what I was calling the psychic matrix.
Yeah, this is
mind
yeah,
control.
go ahead,
yeah, you know what I'm really talking about here, and what we're trying to say here, it's like remote influencing. If you think about that, remote influencing, mind control.
Sorry, I have to do this to do this.
You don't have to do this
yes,
now.
I do.
Okay, hold on a second.
You can talk. They don't have to see you. They can hear you.
Okay. So how are we programmed? So that's basically what this book is talking about. We have to understand the nature of and this is what I wanted to try and explain. And those of you who are therapists may know this already. I'm sorry, I'm going to go over this because I believe that every human being should actually be taught this at school. I wonder why they're not. What is the nature of our subconscious mind? What is the subconscious? Okay. So the psychic matrix, which is transmitted into our minds via the media, the computer games, social media, and all the advertisements we see on TV, it is interesting because it occurs because we are without this knowledge, and therefore we are like an unsuspecting population. Clueless is what I like to call us. It's like being an unsuspecting target. We don't even know what's hitting us, and this is what's been going on. Okay, the subconscious mind is pre-verbal. It's our non-semantic mind. So when we're born, we have a pre-verbal, non-semantic mind. What that really means is we do not think in language. The way an infant is they actually think with creativity. They visualize, they use their imaginations. And what happens as we get older, we start to learn about language. Our parents start to talk to us, we go to school, etc. We get conditioned. That becomes our conscious mind, and then the other mind, which is our subliminal mind or the subconscious, takes a back seat. Correct? So what happens is the mind exists, remember, before you begin to think in language. So it's a childlike mind. It's the inner child. It's imaginative. So the childlike imagination, or the imagination mind,
you mean images?
Yes, visualization, images, creativity, imagination. It's visual. The mental foundation, and that's the mental foundation for your ability to then speak, for language. That's the mental foundation for language. Unless you learn to turn off the TV, it affects your subconscious mind. Let me tell you why. Because the subliminal mind or the subconscious can't go away. It sinks below our normal conscious awareness. Which means what? As we get older, what are we learning? More language, more and more language. We're learning to think in language, to not use that, our natural creativity, our natural imagination. All that gets substituted with language. but it is the basis of our conscious mind. And the semantical mind is associated always with the left hemisphere of our brain. The conscious mind is what's logical. It's what can think. It's what is intellectual. That's the conscious mind. When people choose to manipulate you, which is what they do via the media, they do it via advertisements, they are always doing it through our subconscious mind.
Through images.
Through images, because they're brilliant. They understand this about the humanity very, very well. For example, television, radios, advertisements, everything, social media, everything we're really looking at, especially Hollywood and the movies, it is all directed to our subconscious mind. It is the art of speaking directly to our subconscious mind, and that is the art of propaganda. They figured this out in World War II, by the way. Whenever we watch anything, please understand, whenever you watch anything, that means whenever you're watching the news, whenever you're watching a movie on Netflix, a series on Netflix, a television game, whatever you are watching, you are subjecting yourself to mind control, and it is irrelevant how intelligent, intellectual, or smart you think you are. Doesn't make the slightest bit of difference. So ask yourself, what are the messages right now that we are being given as a civilization? What are we seeing? Look at the movies, look at the violence, look at the sex, look at the porn, think about what is being done, and ask yourself, do you think this is an accident? Do you think these people don't know what they're doing?
And if you're an older person like me, take a moment to reflect, you probably already have, but reflect on the changes that have occurred with television and movies. I mean, it used to be, it was so innocent and so sweet, and, you know, real stories and real drama and real emotion and real people. And now, like Ananda is saying, it's just blow things up. It's demons, it's aliens, it's violence, extreme, extraordinary violence, you know, all kinds of bizarre sexuality and there's no judgment here from us. And, yeah.
you know, but at some point we started to notice, I did for many, many years now, especially as a mother, something I've really explored in depth is what is going on. You know, so I really took it upon myself to understand this extremely well. And my awakening just helped me along, because I began to understand that my need for TV and series and watching shit and listening to people, that fell apart. My own inner silence, my guidance was my visualization. My own imagination became my guide. But that doesn't seem to be the case for many people. So I want you to notice, though, and please, for those of you who are intellectuals, I want you to know that you cannot escape every time you switch on that TV. Because you may think that your intellectual understanding keeps you safe because of your, safe from this world, from this matrix, but your subconscious mind does not respond to any intellectual understanding, period. It cannot, it does not. And that is, you can see it all the time. For example, a very intellectual, smart person is watching these ads about fast food. What does it do? It makes your impulses arrive. Sexy, naked women on TV. It creates an impulse. What does that impulse do now? Because it's subconscious. And in other words, your rational, intelligent mind can tell you that doing that is actually not a very good idea, because fast food foods make you super unhealthy. Why would I go buy that pizza or eat that or drink that milkshake? But we do it anyway, don't we?
The key is
we just jump in. We can't beat it.
The key is the repetition. So if they only showed one picture of a hamburger, say, or whatever.
No, even one picture is doing it.
Well, okay, maybe, but really the way it works, the way they make it work is through the repetition, relentless repetition, you know, and you know.
So what is happening to our human behavior? And I often ask people, you know, I have so many people come to me, and with their various addictions, with their habits, with the things they're working on. And more often than not, they are acting on these impulses without recognizing that their impulses are being manipulated and hijacked by a distorted media. Hollywood, that honestly, I have boycotted. I don't even watch anything anymore. I've decided there is no way. Just like I never went onto social media. I refused. I'm like, I'm going to actually have to tell my children not to be on Facebook and be on Facebook. Can't teach. You only teach through example. It didn't help. They're still on Facebook and Instagram and all that anyway. So, but what I'm saying is you have to model at this time, if we want change in our world, we have to start to ask for that change. We have to start to say, you know what, this shit doesn't work for us anymore. You know, we don't want rapists running around raping women and having orgies. If you know what, these are impulses that are being shown on TV. You know, it's like intelligent people are making brutal mistakes because of this idea, this matrix. You see, so you start to really explore the matrix on so many different levels, and Hollywood's only one of them. Okay, there's finance as well, the banking system. There's another. Here we have the American dream. It's all it's debt. The debt dream is basically what we're living in. Finance makes no sense. The Federal Reserve is a mess. Printing money to no end is only going to create inflation, which again is going to create more of a mess. And the messes are coming. Yeah, and I know Ramaji may find it and may be all beautiful in kumbaya to say, yeah, the LOC on the planet is changing and everything's going to be fine. Guess what? It can only be fine if we create the fineness. Kumbaya. You know, we, the people, you know, Gaia doesn't need us.
Well, if you really follow the money, if you really follow the money, like you're saying, then that will take you to this, because it's all about the money, because the money leads to the power. So what did we hear? Jeff Bezos made $13 billion in one day recently. He has benefited enormously from the coronavirus.
Not that I have a problem with, him.
That's fine. We're, it's not about him.
I am a capitalist through and through, and he employs dozens of people that would otherwise probably not have worked, although they say it's not very good working conditions.
But logically, if you have vast amounts of wealth, of money, and thus power, the ability to influence others through money,
yeah, he owns the Washington Times. Say no more.
Washington Post.
The Washington Post.
Okay, so just logically, if you have tremendous $13 billion in one day, that's tremendous wealth. Okay, that's just one day. Okay, so if you have that amount of wealth in the hands of literally a few people, a dozen people or 24 people or even 100 people or whatever it is, 1,000 people, still a very, very, very small number. What logically will that lead to? Especially people who are very competitive, very power driven, power hungry, whatever. Okay, people who want control, who want influence, who want things the way they want them to be, put that kind of wealth in the hands of a few. We're talking about a very lopsided situation. Now, if you follow the money, it can go all the way back to Egypt. It can go all the way back to Babylonia, all the way back to Samaria. Okay, follow the money and you will follow the power. The right of kings and queens, the God king, the God queen, the whole thing of authority, like Ananda was saying, the pyramid of the few ruling the many. Okay, we're saying that situation is still going on.
But please understand, the answer is not socialism at all. Okay, and the answer is not protesting about Black Lives Matter either, because every life matters.
So
and it's not about looting and losing your mind and starting to create a scene.
I have some notes. Is it time, or should I wait? I have some notes.
Yeah. Okay. I'll say one more thing before Ramaji reads his notes, because they're going to be super interesting. Do your own research. It's not enough anymore that we're relying on some kind of state that may or may not come for yourself only. Please understand that the only way life will change and the only way we can be a part of the change is to actually do something, because to know and not to do is not to know. And we can go and rant about LOCs forever and a day. It's not going to make the slightest bit of difference. We have to educate people. People have got to become interested in what's going on in this world. If not for your generation, at least for your children's or for your children's. You know, we want to create a humanity. We want this crossroads to go. We want to be on the side of truth, on the side of compassion, on the side of love. In order to do that, we have to then, you know, I mean, it's a strange thing to say because I'm not really an activist. I'm a spiritual teacher. But ultimately, if it means being an activist, if it means speaking up in some way, do it. It doesn't matter. You've all got voices. You've all got powers. You've all got more power than you could ever imagine. In fact, it's limitless. You don't have to be scared. Okay? We all have to take a part in the change. Not just some of us, all of us. It's at that time now, you know, and what do we have to lose? You know, really, it's just another lifetime. You don't have to worry about death. Most people, you're not even afraid of death. You're afraid of life. You're afraid of living. You're afraid of doing what you want. You're afraid of speaking up. That's what people are afraid of, life, not death. We're already dead anyway. Anyway, so yeah, what do you want to say?
Okay, so what we're talking about, as far as I'm concerned, is the next decade, 2020 to 2030, okay? So when you start to ask, if you just simply ask, what is going on? Is something going on? You know, people have been getting individually enlightened for thousands of years. Individuals have gotten enlightened for thousands of years, but it hasn't changed the world. It's certainly helped, I'm sure, but it hasn't changed the way things are. We still have war, for example.
What a disgrace.
So what's going on now, which I happen to think is being greatly assisted by the rise in LOC on the surface of the planet where we so-called civilized human beings live, I guess being greatly supported by that change. What needs to happen now and what is happening now is not only individual enlightenment, individual clarity, but collective awakening, collective enlightenment, which requires the investigation of the external structures, not just our internal process, but the external process, like schools, or the media, or money, or who's in power and why, politics. I mean, these are all things I couldn't have cared less about, you know, go back 10 or 20 years. Now, they are, I mean,
it's obvious.
I'm watching the news like I never have before.
And we're watching Fox News, by the way, just so you know.
Current events are about consciousness. Current events are about everything is being exposed. The mask is being ripped off. So open your eyes and ears. The last thing we want to do is tell you what to think or tell you what to believe. But we do firmly believe ourselves, if you start asking what is going on, you will start seeing that a lot is being revealed right now. So Ananda was talking about the matrix. Okay, let's say there is a matrix. Now this matrix is something we're born into as a form of programmed conditioning. We're born into it, so most people never realize they were born into it. But a few people like ourselves, like you guys, begin to suspect something. We just we know something's not right. Not everything is true that we're being told. Well, if there is a matrix, that begs the question, who or what is behind the matrix? Who or what created the matrix? Who or what is maintaining this matrix?
And why?
As soon as you accept that there is a matrix or might be one, a matrix of influence and persuasion and control, you then have to ask who or what is behind it. So we're not going to tell you what we think is behind it, but we want you to find out for yourself whatever you think is behind it. So I want to talk for a moment about cognitive dissonance. So cognitive dissonance means that when you hear something new that challenges your beliefs, you're uncomfortable and you don't really want to change. So I want to give an example. So in terms of opening up to these things, and we know that some of you are already very open to these things and doing your own research, but we keep finding, you know, you can keep opening, you know. But basically, so in terms of embracing a new understanding of
just how toxic the paradigm is.
Thank you, or the matrix, yes. For example, at one time, nobody knew about the Italian mafia. Nobody knew about the mafia. They didn't think there was such a thing. And even the head of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, denied, no mafia, no, there is no mafia. And then there was this big meeting in the 50s, and basically a whole bunch of the mafioso got busted. And then it was proven there is a mafia. But you know, nowadays everybody knows there's a mafia, but back then it was denied. Okay, so that's an example of something happening in the matrix. So I believe that in addition to any research into what's really going on, such as asking questions like, what's behind the virus?
What is a virus?
And what's behind the riots? You know, in our case, we're in California. What's behind Governor Newsom not allowing the children to go back to school, even though all of the science in the United States and internationally, without exception, says the best thing for the children is to go back to school in the fall. No questions, absolute certainty. Yet he's not allowing it, and what is it, New York they're not allowing it, or Washington? Certainly not in California. So what is going on there? So you have to have this, I mean, this is personally affecting all of this. What is going on? And there are certain things going on in the European Union as well that correspond to this, but I'm not that knowledgeable about that. So we live in unique times. We live in unique times where consciousness is exposing the mind of the world, the mind, the subconscious, the confusion of the world. So that now, because we have to, where's the love, right? Where's the love? You know, there's a problem here on this planet. Where's the love? You know, individuals, you know, will act in love, but collectively, where's the love? You know, we have the movies. I subscribe to Amazon, as I think I mentioned before, and it's got a great selection of movies. I'm actually astonished by the number of movies that have predictive programming in the form of very demonic movies, always and about horrible aliens and about AI and robots.
And what about diseases and viruses?
And like 10% of those science fiction movies, at least, were about viruses. And this goes way back. And even recently, I mean, over and over again, movies about viruses.
Do you see the program?
This is called predictive programming. It's amazing. I just I couldn't believe it. And actually the number of movies about demons and things like that is just, I mean, it's an avalanche. It's a tidal wave of this crap. It's unbelievable.
Fear.
And what is that though? It's fear. It's fear. It's fear of these horrible forces, horrible demonic things, etc. Which, by the way, if you're living a spiritual life, you're getting RASA, or you're 1,000, or you're on the path and the path of love and awakening, they're not going to bother you. They're not going to come anywhere close to you.
I still want to put them close to me.
Yeah, well, they don't want anything to do with you, okay? But just so you know. But I'm saying this is the programming to intimidate and make and scare people.
They're going to now tell us what we have to do with our bodies.
So this is, so in summary, this is not a time to ride the fence. This is not a time to bury your head in the sand. You've got to understand this is a time where in some form or another, we have to take action. The awakening is happening inside, outside, together, collectively, the whole planet. And so we've been talking, well, what can a person do? Well, it's really, what do you in your heart really feel like doing? That might be just contributing financially.
But be careful who you contribute to.
Well, yeah.
Well, they've got to look up, because a lot of, for example, I'm sorry, I can't help this. Black Lives Matter thing has disturbed me because I love people and every life's always mattered. And to me, America is just not a racial country at all. I mean, black people, I've got black students, I've got Chinese students, I've had these children grow up in my homes. I come from South Africa. Now there was a bit of a problem there for a while and still is, but it's, anyway, not here. So what I mean to say is, the money that they're funneling through the donations to BLM, where are they going? They're going straight into the politicians' pockets.
Yeah, if you actually go to the website,
it's not cool,
and act like you're going to donate, it will eventually tell you, and you don't have to actually donate any money, but they will actually tell you where it's going to go.
It's
And
like a political maneuver.
It's not going to anything racial or about Black lives. That's all we can tell you. You go do your own research.
Look it up yourself.
It's not what it seems to be. And Black Lives Matter, the last time that surfaced, it surfaced before.
Just before the last election or whenever that was.
In 2016, before the last election. So this is what we're saying. Do your own research, but don't take things at face value. And as far as taking an action, it could be a financial donation. It could be, you know, if you have local people who are hungry or homeless, could help them. It doesn't have to be political. You don't have to get on YouTube. You don't have to go become a whistleblower.
No, and you don't have to become a spiritual teacher either.
Yeah, but it's not enough just to be spiritual. It's time to take action and move out in some form from your heart with compassion to make a difference of some kind. If you have children that you want to have in school, and they're, you know, you could organize a protest and they're not being allowed to go to school, a protest, or at least a lawsuit. Here in California, there are lawsuits against Governor Newsom for blocking the children from going to school. So take action, take action. Don't, you know, the way things was enabled because people want to be comfortable. They don't want to take action that's uncomfortable. Well, we're being made uncomfortable.
And so I'm sorry, I'm going to say this,
take action.
Please read the science about wearing a mask.
It's very ambiguous, the science about the mask.
Now, I'm not saying don't or do, and I'm not saying maybe it does or doesn't. I'm just saying read the science of what it does to your oxygen levels when you are walking around wearing a mask and continuously touching the mask, because all you're doing is touching it to make sure it's on your face. I don't know about the rest of you. I do that all the time. In California now, we have to wear these ridiculous masks, even when you're going for a walk outside.
Oh,
So what is the new paradigm?
No, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, it is.
Is it true?
Yeah.
Oh.
What is the paradigm? This is the new matrix.
Yeah, and what is behind this mask thing? Is it all about health, or is it a psychological? Remember, we're talking about images. So you see everybody is masked as if they're not being allowed to talk.
What are they doing to the children?
Or they, you know, it's also a dehumanizing factor. So possibly there's reasons behind it that don't have to do with health. But I agree on that thing about having trouble breathing, because that's my. So I'll wear a mask if I'm out going to the store, but that's.
You're breathing in carbon dioxide.
Because I have to.
It's really, really not good for you.
Yeah. So, yeah, but, you know, each person has to come to their own conclusion. But once again, we're saying things are not necessarily the way they seem. You have to ask questions. Let's see, anything else?
And you know what? These were some of the hardest questions I've ever had to ask. I really thought I'd reached a point where maybe there were no more questions. To be honest with you, I was always a liberal. And for the first time ever, I was questioning, what does it mean to be a liberal at this time in my life? Maybe a liberal is the wrong word. I was more or less a conservative liberal. So I like to think I was in the middle, you know, and this is not about politics. And please, I don't give a shit who you vote for. It's up to you. Please come to your own conclusions, just as we have come to ours. But we made definite changes.
We live in a dualistic planet. This is an extremely dualistic planet. Now, if it's an extremely dualistic planet, so that you've got the ultimate saints and good people and enlightened people on one end, what does that mean? What does that say about what we've got on the other end? Okay? So if we really got that on the other end, if this dualistic planet has got people that are as bad as some other people are good, what are those bad people up to? You know what I mean?
Is the narrative true? That's the point. And you know what? If they don't know, maybe they just trying to, right now it's scary. They want to give us some hope about a mask. Who knows? But whatever the case may be, the truth would be we don't know. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Actually, the science, we don't know. We haven't come to a definite conclusion. That would be an understandable truth, giving people the ability to choose, just like with a vaccine. I want to be able to choose, and no one's going to tell me what to put in my body.
Yeah. Well, I think my opinion is the coronavirus is going to not, I mean, we'll have the financial economic recovery, but I think by the end of the year, it's not going to be the issue that it is now.
And I'm sorry I went off on that.
No, you didn't really go off.
I am pissed, to be honest, about what's going on because I just see so much panic-stricken, so many panic-stricken faces around me, you know, on the streets, and people walking around not touching one another and afraid, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, in California, yeah, I mean, California's...
It's really, I don't even want to live in California.
A lot of people want to leave California now.
And they will leave California.
Yeah, I mean, they're just...
The sooner
I mean, obviously, it's always been expensive here, but if your human rights are going to be violated by the state you live in, you know what, that on top of it being so expensive is enough reason to leave right there. So did you have any other major thing to say?
A word, one more thing.
Okay.
I want us to all think about for a while the New Age movement. You know, so many of us are like, you know, you get certain cities like the Bay Area, the crystals and the New Age movement and who the latest guru is giving us satsang and all that shit. How has it helped us? Has it? Are we even asking the right questions at this time? Earth is supposed to be a school. Let me say that. We're supposed to grow. We are supposed to evolve. We evolve just like a baby evolves when they learn how to walk. They first have to fall a few times before they get their balance and they learn how to walk. For some strange unknown reason, we've become so afraid of falling. We've become so afraid of making a mistake, needing to seem or be a certain way. We can't feel scared. We can't feel angry. We have to be all spiritual and kumbaya and all that crap. Please understand that it's got nothing to do with truth. The truth is that the natural state could mean a variety of things at this moment in time. You could be feeling angry at this moment in time, frustrated, happy, sad. The human condition is not apart from the fundamental knowingness of your beingness. For example, you cannot have the depth of the ocean without the waves, and you could not have the waves without the ocean. There is no separation, it's still one ocean. The point is, it's okay to be riding a wave and to be honest about riding a wave. It's okay to feel lost if that's where you are, meet yourself there.
Negative emotions are okay.
You know,
they're natural.
It's okay. You have to at some point understand that this idea of perfection, this idea of whatever that means to certain people is ridiculous. It is just not about, that's not truth. The truth is you can meet yourself where you are. You are all perfectly imperfect. And I say this over and over again. How do you know someone's awake? How authentic is that human being? Can they say, I feel like shit right now, actually? I'm angry. Can they meet you, hold space for you, love you anyway, have empathy? Have they got an open heart? Are they being real? Those are the questions now, you know, and at the same time, how are you being? What kind of a message are you giving? You know, enough of the hierarchy, enough thinking you're going to get something from somebody else. It's enough. It's, you know, this is our time. This is the time. This is the freedom that's available now. These are the vibrations. I cannot even say it more.
If there's going to be a collective awakening and things are going to be different, we've got to do something different than we ever did before. And typically the spiritual person, you know, spirituality and religion are guilty of basically.
Terribly guilty.
Oh, I'm good. I'm going to walk away, go live on top of my mountain or live in my monastery or my nunnery or whatever, and let everything go to hell. I mean, you read the classic books, that's what they are saying. They're saying, no, don't bother with the world, it's an illusion. And look what we have now. So we, the people who are more free and more loving and more conscious and more awake, at this time, we, the people who know better, need to take action. We need to be more involved, not less involved. I mean, you do want to take care of yourself and your family.
Absolutely.
Maybe that means relocating, living in a more rural setting.
Or not.
Or whatever. But this is this is not the time to watch and just observe, just be a witness. This is a time where your enlightenment, your realization needs to be expressed through action.
And share. Take your sessions.
Which
do
means
your work.
love, which means love. I mean, you know, I'm sure if we all sat down and talked, we go, do we see love being manifested in the world on any kind of major scale? And the answer is no. You know, so what's going to change that? What's going to change that is all of us
learning to love ourselves.
Well,
really.
love ourselves, but act in a loving way to make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Remember, progress. Progress is always a few things. Progress takes place. It's physical, it's mental, and it's emotional. It's about maturation. It's developing a soul. It's developing compassion. It's developing care, interrelatedness. That's love. All those things are it's a process. We progress. That's what this is. It's not. There's no final arrival. In other words, you don't arrive somewhere and there's nothing left to do, because then you'd be dead and that'll come. But right now, as long as we're here, we awakened, and as awakened beings, that just means that it's no longer about little me, and life is not always going to show us what little me thinks it means.
We have to support the collective awakening, but the point I want to make about that is it's personal and unique to you. There is a way that you can express yourself that's unique to you, that will bring you joy, that will bring you fulfillment. So if you don't know what that is yet, it's not like you should do this or you should do that.
No should.
That's not what we're saying. We're saying, as you sit and contemplate, or pray or ask, how can I be of service? How can I make a difference that will bring me joy?
That's the point.
That will make me feel really good about myself. So so moving in that direction, then it's a total win-win-win situation. It's not about trying to be good. It's not about trying to help or any of that. It's just hearing the suffering of your brothers and sisters, or just noticing how the world is and saying, I want to make a difference, show me. And your heart, your gut, your midline, your center line, knowing through your body, yes, this is what I want to do. Maybe it's just,
sharing information, I always say right now, is
well,
key.
that's true.
Key. And remember, at this stage of our little human game, it has started to really matter, okay? There is no easy way out. There never has been. There's no escaping. So please stop accepting any narrative that does not ring true, is not in alignment with what feels and is true to you. You guys know what's true for you because it feels good. It feels right. Okay, use logic too. What is for the betterment of mankind? That's what I always say. What makes logical sense here? You don't have to avoid your shadow. Stop trying to avoid your shadow. Everyone has a shadow. Stop projecting. Everyone else is wrong and I'm right. Bullshit. We're all wrong and we're right. Ask questions. Stop settling. You don't need to settle. Challenge yourselves. Challenge those thoughts. They're negative thoughts. You challenge them. This is the time. We get to learn. We get to mature. We get to grow. And it's here for us. The energies are here for us. So if anything, I know I sound like a motivation teacher. Like, who's that guy? Remember that guy, Tony Robbins? Is that his name? He's so cool. He stands up and then everyone dances and then like, yeah, it's all good and whatever. Yes, if I sound a bit like that, I'm sorry. But more than anything else, I want to sound real. I want to be real. This is real. You are real. And you all are so entitled to be yourselves. So entitled to say what you think. You're amazing. Each one of you is amazing and awake and aware.
Yeah, maybe we want to go to the chat now.
Yeah, now you can ask your questions.
Yeah, we got some people in the chat here. Okay. Go on, Ananda. Okay, Tassos, who is Greek, says, Polymathy means learning a lot. That's a Greek word.
That's interesting.
Nerd. Yes, we're nerds.
I'm a total nerd.
Teresa says, I feel joy to hear about the increased LOC. This will be a sacred planet. Here we go. Yeah, that's what I think.
Eventually.
Yeah, it's just going to take time. That's all.
Oh, the Psychopath Factory.
That's the
Haven't
book.
we got? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, billboards, Cynthia. There are billboards in low-income areas with liquid and cigarettes. Yeah, that's a really great example of what's going on. You know, there's good documentaries about the opioid epidemic. You know, there's something called The Pharmacist on Netflix, which is a great documentary that talks about how pharmacological companies exploited teenagers and so on. It's really quite, an actual pharmacist pursued this to the end to reveal just a ton of stuff. And
like the one on Oxycontin?
Yeah, that one. That's what I'm talking
about.
Big
Pharma. What's it called? The Pharmacist.
I think it's called The Pharmacist. It's on Netflix.
Excellent
documentary.
You know, if you're going to watch anything, watch documentaries. Like there are such good ones on the Federal Reserve and Big Pharma. And
Filthy Rich about Epstein.
Yeah, that's another problem we face. We're facing
then there was
toxic pedophilia.
And then on YouTube, what was that one? Contra.
Oh wow! Yeah, I cried when I watched that.
Yeah, that was about.
It's called Contraband.
No, Contraland.
Contraland. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, it's called Contra. CONTRA.
Let me write that down. We don't have the link, but
it's a fantastic document.
It's about child trafficking.
Talk about taking action.
Yeah. So. Again, I mean, this can be pretty shocking, some of this stuff. You know, this is taking the red pill. But, you know,
I'm furious.
This is
about the children.
In our opinion, you know, this stuff that is well documented. This is not just somebody blowing smoke.
Just so you know, basically it's a $40 billion a year industry. Children. Okay. 1 million children go missing in the United States per year, something like 8 million worldwide.
Well, those numbers may be high.
They're not high.
But even
they're low.
But even in the United States, well, other numbers I've heard are like 300,000 in the United States. But let's just, if it was just 300,000, that's thousands of kids a day. Okay.
Why? Ask yourselves why and start asking, investigate why. Why children? Why little ones?
Yeah. So Reginald says, I work as a behavior therapist and see this all the time in my field and in society at all times. Prompts are everywhere. Yeah.
So right, Reginald.
Tassos, the great NLP master, Darren Brown, has led a couple of advertisers to create an advertisement by inducing subliminal messages to them. They do that professionally, but they still got influence. Yeah. I mean, I believe subliminal messaging never went away.
It's always been there.
They're still doing it.
It's been there. You know, if you ever look, if you really want to get into some stuff, you can actually explore something called Project Paperclip. I don't know if any of you have ever looked at Project Paperclip, but it's horrific. And when you understand Project Paperclip, more and more starts to make sense.
Okay, somebody's asking a question regarding MMS. It says that we recommended it as a measure to react to Corona some time ago. I took it once for several weeks and it made me feel very tired, exhausted.
I told you.
Not good at all. After all, my research indicated a big oxidative potential of MMS to human cells, which can't be a good idea to expose the body long term. Okay, so let me answer that.
I actually feel bad for ever talking about that now.
Oh, do you? Well, I don't. Okay, but here's the thing. First of all, we're only talking about taking it if you already think you have the coronavirus. We're not talking about taking it as a preventative.
And I said to everyone, don't take it at all until you've read about it, explored it, and done your own research ever. It wouldn't matter if Jesus tells you to take something. Look into it yourself. Find out what the ingredients are and then decide. I've taken it a few times when I feel like I'm getting a cold. It doesn't do anything bad to me personally.
Or me personally.
But and he's taken it too.
But you have to read.
But you have to be certain.
The book.
Don't, again.
You have to read Humble's book.
You know,
and you have to
the road to evil is led by the best intentions.
You have to follow the directions very, very closely. Okay, so if you, you get the book, then you follow those directions.
And I would say it's a last resort, something that you can take if Tylenol doesn't work, or if you really start to get a terrible fever and you're not sure what to do and you don't want to go to the hospital. I'm not saying for a second just take MMS because you can.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we may take it off the website, but
is it on the website?
Yeah, it's still on the website.
Take it off.
You want me to take it off?
Yes.
Okay, well, yeah, so
I don't even look at the website.
You have to read the book, you know, and follow the instructions. Okay, if you're not doing that, there's a lot of misinformation about the MMS. So that's the best source. We told everybody what the best source was. You're right. You do have to be careful with things like this.
Jim Humble, he wrote a book about it. Jim Humble. His name is Jim Humble, Humble.
And that's got the latest information.
And he really seems to be the
So
most
if you had a negative
guy.
reaction to it, don't take it. And, you know, maybe we're going to take it off the website now. But I personally have a whole bunch of it. And
but we've only taken it once or twice.
Twice.
You know, and only because we both felt sick. So that's why we took it.
And then we felt immediately better.
And I felt better the next day.
So if you took it and you feel bad, then in my opinion, you either didn't
Otherwise,
take
I would
it
never just
correctly,
take it.
Or maybe it's just not for you. You know, if anybody has anything they want to say, put it about MMS one way or the other, please put it in the chat.
I agree with you, Reginald. An overload of information. That's why discernment now is imperative. Use your discernment. And a lot of people now, you know, it's very funny, but I always call it spiritual narcoticization. It's almost like people are so desperate to escape in some way that they're using like spirituality as an escape. In other words, when I get enlightened, I'm never going to feel again and all that crap. You know, and it's like they'll go and listen to Rupert Spira, and God bless him. He speaks about love beautifully and goes on and on. But please understand, it's an hypnotic trance. Because as long as you need an hypnotic trance and your own existential experience is not your guide, you are not getting it. You're the boss.
You know, we look at how bad things are, right? The virus and the riots and the this and that. Well, if people understand how bad it already was, then this detoxification makes perfect sense. In other words, if you didn't know you were really sick and then you find out you're really sick, then you do a major detox, and that could be pretty intense and involve a lot of negatives.
You're feeling bad now.
No, I'm not.
Oh, yes, you are.
No,
meditative.
No, I'm not.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
I did tell people they got to do their research. You know, I mean, I'm sorry. But we're going to take the MMS.
You should feel bad if it made someone feel sick. Say you're sorry. I find it fascinating. It's like dissociating from doing something that may have upset someone.
I'm a psychopath.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm actually a secret psychopath.
You know.
So it's not, being a psychopath isn't entirely a bad thing. There are some there's some positive things about being a psychopath.
No, it's like it's that Jupiter in the first. You know, he's got
No. Listen, I do feel bad. I don't want anybody to suffer from the MMS.
Thank you.
We do believe in it. And I know for a fact it's because Humboldt himself talks about it. You could take it in the wrong dose, and you could have it basically too much of a detox.
You don't need it unless you're really sick.
But it's for
even if you were really sick, maybe you
don't take it as a preventative. I never said that. That's not what we meant.
Yeah.
You're already sick. You're already worried about what's going to happen to you. Then, you know, nowadays so you could take MMS.
Vitamin C is fine.
Vitamin C, zinc.
Colloidal silver.
Colloidal silver, yes, all of those things.
You don't need MMS.
Those are very neutral and safe. Nowadays, of course, there's chloroquinone, remdesivir, something like that. So be up on those things too, so you can go where they have those things.
Look at the
nobody needs to be put on a ventilator anymore. I'm pretty sure that's been disproved. That does not help. So go where they have chloroquinone or one of these other things.
But no one's sick, right? You guys, do any of you even know anyone who's had the virus?
Well, I know one person.
We have one student. Any of you?
Yeah.
Sean.
Dr. Griffin does.
Dr. Griffin? Look at the next page.
Not very many. Okay. All right.
Now, don't you find it fascinating that the whole world's like locked up and wearing a mask, and none of us from all over the world know anyone except for 2 people that have the virus? Don't you think that that's like a call for like, what the fuck is going on here, you know?
Yeah, that's why we say question what's going on. Okay, yeah, so there's a lot of stuff available now, like the chloroquine and so on. So you want to make sure that if you do get the virus, that you have access to whatever is the latest remedies. But you're right about the colloidal silver, superdoses of vitamin C and zinc. And all of that information is available on the internet. And I think we have that on the website as well. Mm-hmm. Okay, so John G asks, what will happen to people at lower LSCs who weren't even interested in waking up or spiritual practices at all during the next few years? How will they perceive the upcoming changes? Well, that's a really great question, and we have discussed this ourselves. And
sometimes we think, like we've been thinking a lot about.
There are definitely, to feedback what you're saying. Mm-hmm. The point you're making there, just to be crystal clear about it,
I didn't make a point.
I didn't say you, I mean John G. The reality is, and I think we all would agree, the reality is there's a whole bunch of people that don't give a damn about spirituality. They don't care, they're not interested, they maybe even think it's just a bunch of BS, and they really don't care about empathy, and they really don't care that much about love beyond their family and so on. A huge number of people.
Which is why all this is taking
consciousness is going up on the planet, it's in non-duality right now where people are living on the planet, on the surface of the planet. What's going to happen? Well, I'll just tell you what some of the predictions are, or some of the possibilities are. They could be that such people will literally not be able to function. Because they're going to be in an environment that they can't handle.
Well, I think that they will have a variety of tests and tribulations, and things happen to them just like the rest of us that will help them evolve at the level where they're at. Remember, there's no right or wrong. These people, just because they don't meditate and aren't interested in spirituality, does not mean they're part or not part of all that is. They are.
Just imagine if it's 10 times or 100 times more intense than it is now.
Yes, I have no judgment of those people.
What's going to happen?
Well, they may be younger souls.
If they're afraid, if they're resisting, if they're freaking out, what happens when people freak out? When they super freak out, what happens? Okay, now there's an interesting concept that we've been exposed to many times in different forms, which is Earth 1 and Earth 2. And a splitting. Now, how would that occur? We have some information on how that might occur, but basically,
maybe it has already.
Or different timelines, this kind of a thing.
There are all sorts of ideas.
But the bottom line, I think, from my point of view, is everybody's going to have a place to go. So this planet is going up, and that suggests that those of us who are on board with that and with awakening, welcome home. This is your happy home. And the folks that don't fit, since home is changing, home is evolving, the planet's evolving for herself. And if you don't fit, I think you're going to go somewhere else. Makes sense, because you're not going to fit here anymore. Literally, be like you used to be a land animal, and now you have to become a sea animal. Well, those of us who have gone through the awakening process can be both. We're okay with it.
I am you both anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to say something.
That's our answer.
Yeah, and a lot of this, just so we're not really here to control it. We're here to handle it. So I always say to people, if it's happening to you, it simply means you can handle it. So you learn to love your tests. You learn to love your tribulations, because you know that it's only via these things that you evolve. So you have to learn to rise beyond the need to look at it in a certain way. And that's the point. You learn to stop resisting your tests and stop resisting your trials and your tribulations and the blockages that are somehow leading you to want to escape. There is no escape. I've always said that. You have to learn what is expected of you, because you're capable more than you could ever imagine. And if it's happening, it means it's happening for a good reason, and that's good. It's cool. Okay, so remember, what is it? What is the message? What is the new message, new age message? Does it serve you? Does it serve others? Stop trying to control. It's like we all have a script, and the script is our destiny. It's for example, let me give a wonderful example of that. For example, a dog. Okay, let's say you have a dog, and every day you put the dog in the backyard, and there is a fence around that backyard. That dog has got a certain amount of free will within that fence, but his script is still fenced. But in that time that is in the backyard, which is every day because they lock him in there, he gets to play and he gets to do whatever he does in that space. That's the script. That's his destiny. The same with all of us. There is a certain script. And within that script that we don't have much control over, we have free will within the script. In other words, how are we going to deal with our script? And that's what you come to, release the control. You have none. So even the thought of it is actually ridiculous, and come to just be and understand that if it's been given to you, that's your script. You signed up for it, deal with it. Learn to handle it with a positive attitude. And I can tell you more often than not, the more spiritual a person is, and I know some of you may disagree, and I don't really care. And, you know, I'm still going to say this. I've always said it. If they are not tribulations, if they are not hard times, if they are not times that you doubt yourself and you doubt this world around you and you feel like you're the only person on planet Earth that actually is normal, then I think there's more of a problem. It's when people come to me and know everything's just fine and everything's always just fine. To me, that's ridiculous. It's not supposed to be, because it's a school. Look at it differently. Find a way to look at it differently. And you know what? I always say, when I have a trial, and I have trials all the time, and tribulations, and there are always issues and always things, and I always say, bring it on. Because the last thing I want is to stagnate or to be too comfortable in some ridiculous comfort zone. That's not my thing.
We're going to keep learning, growing, expanding, deepening. We need to be challenged. And the nature of being challenged is that there will be discomfort, or perhaps pain and suffering even. But these are all temporary, and you know, you can see how, you know, it becomes it's a stepping stone to a more a bigger experience and expression of yourself. Now, I want
limited free will. I call it limited free will. There's a script, but you're in it, and you can decide, like, do I want a milkshake?
Well, I mean, having a human body is having a human body, having a male human body or a female human body, in and of itself is a limiting script.
Absolutely.
Let us not pretend. Okay, so that's a whole thing. That could be a whole satsang. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go on. Someone is saying there's a resistance to surrendering to love. I've been experiencing this in relationships. I feel I'm blocked regarding love because of fear, not wanting to feel pain and suffering. Well, listen, that's true for everybody to some extent. We have a video on YouTube about the back heart chakra. Basically, love enters into the human being via the back of the heart chakra. So I suggest that you watch that video and work with opening the heart through the back. Okay, this is a huge secret that everybody needs to understand. We're going to be doing a new training in more depth, because this to us is the main thing going on, that the human race is stuck as a whole, is stuck at the third chakra, and the fourth chakra needs to open up. So what we're looking at is a civilization where the heart chakra is not opened up. It's not really being acknowledged. We cannot have peace on earth. We cannot have, get rid of poverty and get rid of homelessness and get rid of all these things until the heart chakra is open.
It's so difficult to live. You know, Ramaji and I always say, one of the things that happen when you integrate is you start living from a space where you don't have much armor. So you're very easily hurt. You know, you cry. I cry so often, you know, I cry with my students lately a lot. Like, you know, because you feel this empathy. And the hardest thing in the world is to actually drop the armor and to just be open. And so it's almost like we have to relearn what has always come so naturally. And that's because of fear. You know, we have not been raised. Yeah, I know, Brenton. I'm going to go get to you. We have not been raised to live authentic, normal lives. We've been conditioned that we need to think and be logical, and this is the way we should be or shouldn't be. And it's all about our image and how we come across, and all that's falling apart. So if you were not feeling a bit sad and depressed, if you were not feeling a little bit lonely in these times, then truly, I would think there's something more wrong. It's okay. You know, everyone is going through some kind of a toxic purge.
If you feel heavy, depressed, and no energy, as many people are on this planet right now, you know, maybe you're not ready to quote unquote be active from that state. But it's really about being very real and honest with yourself about what you're feeling. Be open to that feeling. Don't run from it. Don't deny it. Come to understand exactly why do you feel that way. There could be some very good reasons for that.
Fear.
And one thing could be you're watching, for not knowing anything about you personally, but you could be watching too much news. You could be believing negative messages. Instead, turn into yourself, tune into yourself, listen to yourself.
Go into nature. Nature is such a teacher. You know,
nature has retained her balance. So go into nature, and a lot of things start to make sense when you're in nature that are not making sense. If you're obsessed, if you're being influenced by, you know, the mass media. You know, the mass media.
It's a problem.
Is really trying to scare us.
Mm-hmm. Also understand that
a lot of the information about the virus is inaccurate.
Energy is so contagious. So when you're with the right people, you know, I always say to people, so many people are really experiencing loneliness. It's like the inability to connect with a like-minded person or somebody who can just hold space for you and you can be yourself with, you know, and so really reach out to one another.
We're saying that to feel heavy, depressed, no energy is natural under these circumstances. Very natural. But we're saying that that then becomes grist for the mill. It's what you have been given to work with. You know, we experience that sometimes too. But once you have a momentum, then your momentum of, I'm going to use this, you know, it's not something coming and overloading me, I'm going to use it. And if you are being overloaded, then eliminate those causes, eliminate those influences. I mean, we'd be perfectly in favor of turning the TV off for a week or a month. I mean, you really don't, even the internet. I mean, you know, it's about understanding yourself and then getting back to basics where you, in other words, some are more influenced than others by all of these things. So get back to yourself where you can feel yourself again. You feel me, you feel your I am. Okay, I'm alive. If you're alive, that's reason to feel good right there. You know, and if you're healthy or reasonably healthy, another great reason to feel good. If you've got family, you've got a wife, a husband, children, another good reason. Friends, et cetera, get back to basics, get back to nature. Don't, and be aware if your mind is tripping out on you and controlling your moods, then you need to be meditating, letting go of the mind, letting go of those thoughts, confronting them.
And I always say,
and get sessions with us or another RASA giver. You need, you know, the RASA and the sessions really help with this kind of thing.
And you can do this if you don't want sessions. At the end of every day, you can just say, I love myself with my depression, with my anger, with my crap, whatever it may be. Love yourself with it. Put the things you perceive as being wrong into the heart chakra, because the more you incorporate and love yourself the way you are, the more you start to feel complete. You start to realize that, guess what? I'm a human being and I'm allowed. And, you know, we say these things to you guys, but it's up to you to actually do them, because it's by doing them that they work. It's not by hearing them. I can say anything. You have to actually follow through and do these
to
things.
access the love through the back of the heart chakra can be revolutionary. And if you're not doing that and you don't understand it, please do it. You know, I mean, I've known about this for a long time, and I've been waiting for the authorization to teach it. Because if that information was
Who
out.
authorized you? Who authorized you?
You did.
That's ridiculous.
You're my goddess.
I didn't authorize it.
Yes, you did.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
That's so funny.
Okay, so Aaron says, MMS was fantastic for myself and my family. Now, the first week, he says, made me tired and nauseous. After that, I had more energy and mental clarity. I've done much research on the subject.
Wow, thanks, Aaron. So do you take it every day? Where's Aaron? That's interesting.
Yeah, Aaron's over here. Do you want to have a dialogue with Aaron?
Well, yeah.
Okay, Gary, so he's down on the
There he is, Gary.
lower right of the first page.
The
Lower
second,
left
the
of the
second
first
row, second to the top. Second row, second at the bottom
Yeah.
on the first page.
Yeah, there he is.
Hi there.
Hi, Aaron. Wow. So do you take it every day?
Not anymore. I did for, 2 to 3 months at least. And my dad took it for quite a while. He actually, there's a number of different versions of it. You can, there's a thing called CDS, which is also chlorine dioxide, which was a little bit easier for him. People become less nauseous. He used it for his diabetes, and it's consistently been helping his diabetes as far as having to take less and less medicine for it, which has been fantastic.
And so when you say how often does he take it for the diabetes?
So he's been taking it daily. He's been taking it daily.
And so how much would you say, like, according to his body weight?
So again, it kind of goes, Jim Humble said, take it every hour for 8 hours. And that's kind of what he's sick.
If you're sick.
If you're sick. So he's trying to work on his diabetes is what he's trying to do. So he essentially does take it every hour for 8 hours. But it's CDS. So he mixes up 1 bottle a day and then just drinks little amounts throughout the day. And
wow. Oh, that's so interesting. And so as far as like the research with, has he been to the doctor and have they retested the diabetes to see that it's actually helping?
I don't think he's been to the doctor yet. He's just noticed by having to take less medicine than watching his blood sugar levels.
Oh, so he's watching his blood sugar levels. Wow, goes to show, doesn't it? That's what Humble said. It helps with everything. So let me ask you now, your kids, did you say you have kids?
No, it's mainly my parents I've shared it with.
Oh, okay. And you?
And then I took it myself for a while, just almost to test it first before giving to them. And
yes.
Yeah, there's 2 versions. What you're referring to, I think, is that you can take the hydrochloric acid with the other agent, or the chlorine dioxide, something like that. That's the CDS. I had the same thing with the hydrochloric acid plus, I guess it's citric acid. That was hard for me to digest. I had a problem with it. But the other one, the CDS, was fine, and I didn't have a problem digesting it.
Sure.
So it's all in Humble's latest book.
I had no problem with it.
You had no problem.
But I only took it twice.
And then seeing what people have actually said and listening to many testimonials on people who've actually taken it after coming down with coronavirus and seems to be very beneficial to them. It's something that I would highly recommend if my family were to get coronavirus or something. It'd be one of the first things I'd say, hey, give this a try. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, nobody is telling anybody to drink hydrochloric acid.
No.
Or any of that. I mean, it's like anything else that's powerful. You have to really be responsible, read the directions, approach it with caution.
Very much.
Start with a very small dose, make sure it agrees with you, etc.
I always think to myself, anything that's actually cheap that you can just buy, of course, then it's bad.
Well, it's not that cheap.
What I mean to say is it's amazing how these pharmaceutical companies would just absolutely hate for us to find a natural, good solution to our health.
Yes.
We have to take antibiotics and all the crap in the world.
And that's the rabbit hole we go down.
Exactly. So
thank you, Aaron. That's interesting.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you for sharing that.
See, because to me, and then also as Humble says, negative effects could be a detox reaction. So So basically the way you handle that issue is just start off with very small doses. Don't overdo it. And if
Right.
that agrees with you or whatever the, any toxic reaction is okay for you, then proceed. But, if you're having major negative symptoms that you don't like, don't take it,
Yeah,
Everyone's
yeah.
different.
Yeah, that's cool. So you took it every day for 3 months?
Yes, for sure. And I felt my way through the whole, paying attention to what my body was doing, how it felt within my body at all times, trying to just feel how it was reacting.
Wow,
Again,
that's so cool. Yeah, because
again, the
I had
first week, maybe
yeah.
over the first week was rough. It was a little rough. I got nauseous, close to vomiting at some point, very fatigued. And then that started to go away. And all of a sudden I noticed even a clarity, a mental clarity. It almost felt like it was adding some kind of energy to the system in a way.
Yeah. And were you also taking it every hour?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Wow. Okay. I only took it once in the night, just one little bit, and I had such a sore throat and such a bad headache. And so I felt terrible. I thought, oh my God, I'm probably sick. And the next day I was gone, fine.
So she had the sore throat and all, took the MS, and the next day she was fine.
Totally fine, was gone. So
So
I don't know what that
experience
means.
has been very positive, and it's super fast acting in our experience. But again, proceed with caution. If it's not agreeing with you, don't take it.
And again, maybe everyone's got a different biology, different chemical reactions to different
We're
things.
all unique.
We're so unique. So it may be what works for the goose does not necessarily work for the gander. So you've got to do your own research when it comes to this.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I will say it also did kind of send me down, other paths of research as far as cures go and other cheap cures for people. It became quickly less about me and how could these be a benefit to other people if people come to my life who maybe need a cure or need some help with some disease or something.
Did you find anything else that was of equal benefit?
Actually, there's something called Rick Simpson oil, but you have to go through, it's actually extracting oil from the marijuana plant, but it's in a specific, then it can help cure like skin cancer and various cancers. It's fantastic.
Really? So how do you get that?
Well, that you have to get a hold of the flower of the marijuana and then extract it through this process.
Well, there's no question that CBD from marijuana can be really helpful to some people. Marijuana actually, as a medicine, is very powerful and
very useful.
So thanks for pointing that out.
Not that you should all start getting stoned day in and day out, but occasionally it makes no difference.
It's not smoking it; it's just getting this oil, and then it's
the oil. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
I'd love to talk to you more about all this, but that's fantastic. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. That's fantastic. Okay, so what are your thoughts, moving on, what are your thoughts why the planetary LSC is rising so quickly? Are benevolent aliens involved? Well, I think it's happening because it was predicted that it would happen. I think the planet is ready, to graduate from what it was doing before to something new. So it's really what the planet is doing. We live on the planet. So it'd be just like the landlord has decided to remodel the building. Not everybody going to be able to afford to live in the new building, or it's not going to agree with them. We're tenants, so we've got to go along with the landlord. So that's my thought. As far as
I don't ask Michael Hall.
As far as benevolent aliens are involved, my personal belief is that I guess I'll just say it, that there are. This is my opinion. I don't think Ananda agrees with me. But there are good and bad aliens, and they are to some extent involved in all of this. But don't expect them to come rescue us or any such thing. But yes, I do believe they are a factor, possibly in terms of, the genetic creation of mankind as we are nowadays, maybe the result of alien intervention at a genetic level. But right now,
I think there's more and more information that will come out.
And there's a whole thing going on that, there's potential disclosure, but at the same time, it could be a false flag, this Project Bluebeam, where they're actually going to use aliens as a threat. Because if you look at the predictive programming in the movies, it's basically negative about bad aliens, as if they're trying to prep us
Nothing would surprise
for
me at this
a
point.
bad alien attack to unify us, scare us and unify us. There's some strong hints that that could be the approach. So,
And interestingly
that's
now,
something to
suddenly
look
on the
out for.
news, you know, the Pentagon is suddenly releasing all their secret projects about the UFOs that we've had and known about since the beginning
But they're
of before
releasing
World
it
War II.
in
Suddenly
the
it's been
context
released.
of it's a threat.
And that's the problem, because I don't believe it's a threat.
So in other words, both narratives could be true. There could actually be real aliens with real technology.
We have the technology already.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But there could also be a plan to use the whole alien thing as a mind control, crowd control, mass control thing. So you just got to keep your mind open for the possibilities. The whole alien thing is extremely, I mean, I have my own views about it. I don't know that it helps that much to go down that rabbit hole, frankly, in terms of what's happening on the planet. It's really more of a consciousness thing. I do believe our planet and our solar system is being influenced by galactic center. Essentially, this is a cosmic event.
It really is. It's a
So,
cycle.
So in that sense, it's an extraterrestrial event in that the planet has moved into a different zone in the cosmos with a different frequency of consciousness, in my view, which is one of the reasons this is happening. So there's a whole lot that's going on that has absolutely nothing to do with human beings per se. In other words, we didn't create this deliberately, I don't think, but we are here.
And we add to it through fear.
To participate, to awaken and participate. All of us who are here at this time on the planet, at this historical period, in my belief, are here to do something to help this awakening.
Just your vibration alone, if you can get past the fear and the frustration and the anger and the mortification and the horror, I'm sorry, but again, there's a lot in this matrix, but once you get beyond that and it no longer affects you emotionally.
Okay, we got a lot of mess. We better get through these quickly.
Yeah.
Period of turmoil, the best thing that's happened to me in a long time. Less time working and running around, more time focusing on building positive, healthy relationships with self and other.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Tom says when he gets bummed out, he watches the Good News Network.
Yes, good one.
Is there really a Good News Network?
Is there a Good News Network? Oh
there
my
really
God,
is.
Tom. Wow, that's what we need to watch.
We're going to look for that, Tom. Thank you.
I don't even watch anything anymore. I only watch documentaries.
So Corey is saying with MMS, there can be a big detox. It's a bit questionable. He recommends juice fasting.
Juice fasting, yes. Thank you, Corey.
Okay,
I know,
Corey.
Actually, I tried to juice fast, and I got so hungry. So I'm going to try again.
So some people apparently do know people who have died from coronavirus. Is that what I'm hearing?
I know. I've heard of someone who's heard of someone. Yes. Listen, I'm not saying the virus isn't real. It is. There is a virus. It just, is it as real as they're saying? Is it as dangerous? That we don't have enough science yet. There is a virus for sure.
There's a virus, but it appears that the lethality rate is not much different than the flu.
There's definitely a virus. Yes.
So you see, this is what we've concluded with our research. Olive oil is very good for the microbiome in the gut. Thank you.
Olive oil. And what about vinegar? That apple cider vinegar is supposed to be super good with a little bit of water. Just is really gross, but it's good for you. You drink a little, like a teaspoonful with some water twice a day, morning and evening, I believe.
Watching a movie or reading a novel, I go into the story fully. Nothing else is real while I'm reading or watching. Yeah, that is, so you're entering a trance. So it does matter what you expose yourself to in this way.
Yeah.
You are being influenced by it. And unfortunately, it would appear the media, the movies, I'm not sure about novels, but the movies, so many of them are really negative.
It's
Well, they're not all negative.
No, but it's very rare lately. that you see it.
Okay,
because
so Michael says Rick Simpson has a book describing how to make the oil.
Oh, Michael, have you been taking it, making it?
Okay, well, that's
Thanks,
good to
Mike.
know. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there's a book, okay.
That's interesting.
But we know for sure that CBD and oil derivatives of marijuana are very healthy. There's apparently some what's called a cannabidinol network, which is a separate system in terms of pain and the nervous system. And apparently derivatives of cannabis can be very, very beneficial for some people, enormous benefit. So that's another example of marijuana actually is one of the best things for you from a health medical point of view.
Without getting just addicted to being stoned.
And yet,
20%.
why did the government suppress it, criminalize it, et cetera? Very bizarre, very strange. Okay, so Rick Simpson. Okay. And we've been meaning to get more into the CBD. We have used the one from Charlotte's Web, which is quite good for relaxing, helping you go to sleep, things like that.
Haven't used it for a while.
No, we haven't.
I forgot about it. I think it's one. I think everyone would really love to go and enjoy the rest of their weekend and have RASA.
Yeah. Well, I think we managed to get through every message. So thanks, everybody.
And you can email us at any time, you guys.
Thanks for your messages.
We really love you.
It's really important that we get your text messages or that you ask questions or because we don't want to just sit here and lecture, you know. So let's take a little break, 2-minute break. When we come back, we will do the RASA. And anybody who is already a RASA giver.
Oh, I'm going to announce
us.
Valerie when I come back.
Oh, okay, when you come back, okay. So we're gonna disappear for 2 minutes too.
I need to take students and he's incredible. And Valerie from Russia has trained with me for a year and he's going to be giving RASA with us today. And he is just
yeah, he's in the
precious. There he is,
top
Valerie.
right corner.
Wave, Valerie.
Wearing purple. Wave, Valerie. Wave. And then he's got an ohm, golden ohm behind him.
Yes,
that's
and
Valerie.
a golden halo.
Yeah, and he's going to give RASA
Yeah,
with us.
truly.
Anybody else here RASA giver?
Not with us today.
I don't think so. No. But yeah, like Ananda said, if anybody and we see some, we just don't have time to just say hi to everybody, but we really.
But we love you all. Thank you for joining us, especially those people. I see Amy and Andre are in India, and it must be so tired. Oh my God. Okay, so if you fall asleep, it's cool.
Okay. What, down here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So funny.
That's funny.
That's so cool.
All right.
Anyway, we love you all. Thank you for joining us. You know, we're all going to get through this together, you know, one
yeah,
love.
y'all look great. You look really good, actually.
One love.
Really good. Okay, so here we go with the RASA. So
you ready?
15 minutes?
15 minutes, Valerie.
Okay, here we go.
That was your RASA, everybody. We hope you enjoyed it. We love seeing you. I say this every month. It's so, so wonderful to be together and just to hang out.
Yeah, you keep us going, guys.
Yeah.
It really helps.
Precious. It's precious. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, Gary G. Gary G again. And Valerie, you know, the more the merrier, I always say. Thank you so much. And, you know, every month, Gary G comes on and does this without fail. Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, you're a rock.
You know, he's our rock. And each one of you is beyond special. So cool.
Yeah, we're doing this at the last Saturday every month for the rest of 2020. So, and if you have any suggestions about what to talk about in a satsang or any questions that you have, feel free to send them.
I feel like a beer.
You don't look like a beer.
I think that's what I need. No beer.
I have some
Maybe
vodka.
I'll have vodka.
We have some vodka in the fridge.
Might have
maybe today's the day.
Yeah. Anyway, you know, we love you. So we want you all to have the most amazing weekend. Remember to have fun, guys, to laugh, you know, this is it. So
spend time in nature, because we are allowed to go outside. So none of the trees are wearing masks, and, you know, so get out there and enjoy whatever you can enjoy. And like I said, stay in touch and let us know if you have any questions or any input. We welcome it.
Is it okay?
We love you wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, stay healthy, be yourselves. You are love. There's nothing to get. You already are that. Okay? And we love you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.